Good morning, my dear students. Today we are discussing about lipid derived autocoids. So these lipid derived autocoids are biologically active derivatives of 20 carbon atoms polyunsaturated essential fatty acids that are major lipid derived autocoids are mainly these are derived from arachidonic acid. Okay, so that means from the membrane phospholipid, whenever it is activated up by phospholipase A, it converts into arachidonic acid and the subsequent process. Mainly why the name eicosanoids for these compounds are mainly it consists of 20 carbon containing compounds. Okay, so that's why these lipid derived autocoids, especially prostaglandins and leukotrienes, are categorized under eicosanoids. Eicosa means 20 carbon containing compound. Okay, there may be tetrahydro eicosanoic acid derivatives are there. Okay, so from these variety of compounds are derived. Okay, so these eicosanoids are important local hormones and they may act as circulating hormones as well. Okay, frequently we are discussing about prostaglandins, thromboxanes, leukotrienes. So all these are derived from these components only. Okay, so coming to these prostaglandins, what are prostaglandins? These are group of lipid derived components. Okay, so it is derived enzymatically from the lipid, that is fatty acid, and it perform major functions in the human. Okay, every prostaglandin contains 20 carbon atoms including a 5 carbon ring. Okay, so they are produced in many places throughout the body and their target cells are present in the immediate vicinity of the site of their secretion. That means they can't act very longer. Wherever the product is synthesized, there itself in the vicinity, that means very nearby regions only, these will act upon. Okay, so how these will act means mainly these will act on the platelets, lipid metabolic mediators that act upon platelets, endothelium, uterine and mast cells, and they are synthesized in the cell from the essential fatty acids. Okay, so how these prostaglandins are synthesized means, see here a mammalian phospholipid. Whenever phospholipase A2 is activated by chemical or mechanical stimuli, immediately there will be release of arachidonic acid. We can call it as arachidonate or arachidonic acid. So mainly there is two pathways in the arachidonic acid. One is cyclooxygenase pathway and another is lipooxygenase pathway. So whenever the cyclooxygenase pathway is activated, immediately it gets converted into cyclic endoperoxides. Those are called as cyclic endoperoxides are nothing but PGG2 and PGG2 and PGH2. Okay, first PGG2, prostaglandin G2 will be released and after that it will get converted into PGH2. Okay, these G, H, F, E, D all are the subtypes of prostaglandin, nothing but prostaglandin subtypes. According to their action in our body, these are divided into from A to I. Okay, so F2 alpha like that. Okay, so from this the what is cyclic endoperoxides are nothing but prostaglandin G2 and prostaglandin H2. Okay, so after that this prostaglandin H2 will be degraded into three components, that is prostacyclin, okay, thromboxane and isomerases. So prostacyclin synthase means it will release prostaglandin I2. Okay, prostacyclin synthase will release prostaglandin I2. From this it will release 6 keto prostaglandin F1 alpha. Prostaglandin F1 alpha. Okay, so and from thromboxane this will release thromboxane A2, which can get converted into thromboxane B2. TXA2 and TXB2 we will call it as. And coming to isomerases, these are activated and converts into PGF2 alpha, PGD2 and PGE2, which are having wide variety of actions. That is PGF2 alpha involves in bronchoconstriction, myometrial contraction, and PGD2 consists of platelet aggregation inhibition and vasodilation. Okay, PGE2 also consists of vasodilator actions and hyperalgesia, but it consists of bronchoconstriction also. So in detail we will have so many actions of these prostaglandins in our body. Okay, so very pathophysiological roles of these prostaglandins, thromboxanes or prostacyclin are varied in various different conditions. So what are the pharmacological actions means? Mainly regulation of blood pressure. This PGE2 and PGI2 are vasodilator in vascular beds and increase blood flow and decrease peripheral resistance, and also these will cause lowering of blood pressure. Okay, inflammation, mainly this PGE1 and E2 induce the symptoms of inflammation, that is redness, swelling, etc. Mainly these redness and swelling will be due to vasodilation. That means more inflammatory mediators will move into the site of action, so that more reddening of the site will be seen, which is resulting in inflammatory condition. Okay, you can see here the vasodilation process of this PGE2 condition, PGE2 and PGI2 both will have the maximum vasodilatory effects. Okay, so that the capillary permeability condition will also be enhanced. Okay, and reproduction, mainly PGE2 and PGF2 alpha causes contraction of uterine smooth muscles in pregnant women especially. So that's why during parturition, that is delivery condition, mainly these contractions of uterine muscles will increase due to the maximum release of PGE2 and PGF2 alpha. Okay, and in regulation of temperature and pain, it acts on thermoregulatory center of hypothalamus to produce fever. That's why when prostaglandins are higher, what will do? Our automatically body condition fever will increase, that will result in pyresis. Okay, so what we are giving the drugs? Aspirin and paracetamol, NSAIDs we are giving. What is the purpose of NSAIDs? These will inhibit the production of prostaglandins. Why? Because these will directly cause the inhibition of cyclooxygenase pathway. Why? Because NSAIDs all will act on cyclooxygenase and it will be inhibits and causes inhibition of phospholipid pathway to decrease the production of prostaglandins. Okay, so that's why these will aggravate the pain and fever condition. Okay, and formation of PGE2 in hypothalamus will be enhanced. That's why fever associated with pain will be resulted. Okay, so this is the main function in temperature enhancement. Okay, and regulation of gastric acid secretion. Prostaglandin inhibits gastric secretion. Prostaglandin stimulate pancreatic secretion and increase the motility of the intestine and leads to diarrhea. Okay, and influence on immune system, mainly prostaglandin E decreases immunological functions of B and T lymphocytes. Okay, so main the activity of B and T cells will be inhibited by this PGE2. Okay, coming to effect on respiratory system, PGE2 causes broncho smooth muscle relaxation. Okay, and whenever there is a smooth muscle relaxation, immediately PGF2 will be activated, prostaglandin F. Okay, this causes bronchial smooth muscle contraction. Okay, so these both will have oppose action of each other in the lungs also. Okay, and influence on renal functions, prostaglandin increases glomerular filtration rate, thus promotes urine output. And effect on platelet aggregation, PGI2 inhibits platelet aggregation, and thromboxane and PGE2 promote platelet aggregation and blood clotting, which might lead to thrombosis condition. Okay, so whenever the blood clotting is enhanced, automatically the clots will be blocking the vessels, so that there will be inhibition of these, that means blockade of the blood vessels, that is leading to thrombosis condition. You can see in the diagram here, so how the clots will be produced and blocking the particular part of lumen of the blood vessel. Okay, and coming to eye region, it decreases intraocular pressure, and in CNS these will regulate hormones, sensitize spinal neurons to pain. Okay, all these are the functions of prostaglandins, especially in every region of our body. Okay, and coming to uses of these prostaglandins, mainly these are useful in obstetrics. So that means to induce whenever the women are feeling pain or any discomfort during delivery, then it will cause the induction of labor. Okay, and also sometimes if prostaglandins are higher, then it will lead to abortion condition, and cervical ripening condition, and its damage and release of more cervix contractive conditions like that, and postpartum hemorrhage, everything. Okay, and this will also used in peptic ulcer, as it reduces intraocular pressure. These are used in glaucoma condition, and also these are used in erectile dysfunction, and these are also used in primary pulmonary hypertension. Okay, that means these will reduce the hypertensive conditions. Why? Because these are having vasodilation effects. Okay, and what happens when there is increase in prostaglandin secretion means, we said that mainly arthritis, heavy menstrual bleeding, and painful menstrual cramps, and certain types of cancer including colon and breast cancer might happen whenever there is increased prostaglandin synthesis. And anti-inflammatory drugs such as aspirin and ibuprofen work by blocking the action of the cyclooxygenase enzymes, and so reduce prostaglandin levels. Okay, so best example for aspirin is that, okay, mainly it acts as anti-platelet aggregating inhibitor, and also whenever we give these prostaglandins, this will aggravate the conditions. Okay, and if very less prostaglandins is there, so what happens? So manufacture of drug can be used to increase prostaglandin levels in the body under certain circumstances. That is, administration of prostaglandins can induce labor at the end of pregnancy or abortion in the case of an unwanted pregnancy. Okay, they also can be used to treat stomach ulcers, glaucoma, congenital heart disease in newborn babies. So we need to have a maximum amount of prostaglandins to treat all these conditions. So these are the different drugs and brand names which we can used under prostaglandins. This is mosoprostol, methotrexate, carboprost, enprostil, ipoprostinol, latanoprost, bimatoprost, and travoprost, tadalafil, sildenafil, etc. Okay, so these are the drugs which we can use in the as prostaglandins in our regular life to which is in the treatment of glaucoma and platelet aggregation conditions and dysfunction conditions. Okay, and coming to leukotrienes, these are the drugs named because they are first obtained from leukocytes. What are leukocytes? That means nothing but white blood cells, and conjugated double bonds are present. That's why triene. Triene means which consists of conjugated double bonds. So these two combination we'll call it as leukotrienes. And what are the types of leukotrienes? Means these are cysteine leukotrienes, LT, C4, D4, E4 and F4. Okay, so there are cyclic condition, they will have the four membered structure, that's why these are named under this F4. Okay, mainly what is the main this synthesis means, especially these leukotrienes have LTB4 synthesized in vivo from LTA4 by the enzyme LTA4 hydrolase. Primary function is to recruit neutrophils to areas of tissue damage, though it is also helps in promotion of or production of inflammatory cytokines by various immune cells. And LTG4, a metabolite of LTE4, in which the cysteine moiety considered to an alpha keto acid, that is the cysteine has been replaced by a pyruvate. Okay, and coming to the functions of leukotrienes, these will act primarily on the subfamily of G protein coupled receptors, may also act upon peroxisome proliferator activated receptors. You know that G protein coupled receptors are main site of action of these leukotrienes especially, and these are also main agents in inflammatory response. And LTB4 have a chemotactic effect on migrating neutrophils and as such help to bring the necessary cells to the tissue. Okay, so these are also used in prophylaxis of all these conditions such as chronic asthma, allergic rhinitis, chronic urticaria, COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and atopic dermatitis, migraine prophylaxis, sinonasal polyposis. Okay, so you know what is sinonasal polyposis? There may be increase in flesh in the nose, in which we can have not having frequent or smooth breathing process. Okay, and these drugs are mainly used in chronic asthma. You know that leukotriene antagonist, isn't it? So asthma is a common inflammatory illness characterized by airway inflammation and hyperresponsiveness to stimuli that produce bronchoconstriction. Okay, these stimuli include cold air, exercise, a wide variety of allergens, and emotional stress. You know, whenever there is a high emotion, if you cry a lot, what happens? Automatically there will be sneezing from the nose. So like that, say, automatically blockade of nose occurs and there will not be proper breathing condition, apnea condition will be resulted. Okay, so this extrinsic asthma and intrinsic asthma are two types. It is mostly episodic, less prone to status asthmatic condition, already we discussed in asthma. And intrinsic means it tend to be perennial, status asthmaticus is more common. So these are the leukotriene, how the leukotriene mechanism of synthesis and antagonists are, especially these membrane phospholipids, as we discussed for prostaglandins, same, but lipooxygenase pathway will result in the release of leukotrienes. These membrane phospholipids will derive from synthesized arachidonic acid. These arachidonic acid, in the presence of lipooxygenase, it converts into leukotrienes. Okay, so whenever you are giving leukotriene antagonist, what happens? This bronchoconstriction and inflammation and increased mucus secretion, everything will be inhibited. In cyclooxygenase pathway also, it releases PGH2, which again release into prostaglandins and thromboxanes. So there are a variety of functions carried out by prostaglandins and thromboxanes, that is bronchoconstriction, pain, fever, everything. So whenever you are giving leukotriene antagonist, automatically this will block the inflammatory conditions also, okay, and other reduction, fever, pain, everything, okay. So the like that these antagonists will be very very helpful in treating asthmatic condition. And also see here, bronchoconstriction is relieved especially by the two drugs, so that asthmatic relief will be there for all the agents. And these leukotrienes assist in pathophysiology of asthma, causing or potentiating the following symptoms. So what is this main role in asthma means? It will cause airflow obstruction, increased secretion of mucus, mucosal accumulation, bronchoconstriction, infiltration of inflammatory cells in the airway wall. See, all these reactions will cause the apnea condition and infrequent, and that means intermittent breathing condition will be resulted, okay. So these leukotriene receptor antagonist, already we discussed in asthmatic condition that main antagonists are zafirlukast and montelukast, okay. These two agents act as antagonists and will cause bronchoconstriction and inflammation. So these, another one is leukotriene synthase inhibitor, that is xyluton, is also used, okay. So these are already we discussed about this mechanism of drugs and its uses, dosage, everything. So zafirlukast, this is we should avoid at meal time and take 1 hour before or 2 hours after meals, and dose will be for 11 years, greater than 11 years old, 20 mg 2 times a day, and for children from 7 to 11 years old, it is 10 mg per day and 2 times a day, okay. And montelukast, adults 10 mg, child at the age of 6 to 14 years 5 mg, and at the age of 2 to 5 years 4 mg, okay. Zafirlukast is mainly not given below 5 years of age majorly, as it causes some because the patient cannot cope up with the drug, and its actions will be very severe, okay. And this dose will be 600 mg orally 4 times daily. Hepatotoxicity in 5%, and drug interactions will be warfarin, theophylline, and propranolol. These are the conditions. And efficacy will be modestly effective for maintenance management. That means we can give as a treatment for management of therapy, and inhaled steroids are preferred over leukotriene agents used as adjunctive therapy in asthma. Benefit may be limited to patients with the 5 leuko and LTC4 polymorphism, okay. So these are the uses of these. So we will discuss a platelet activating factor later.